Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Paul. Hopefully you're having an amazing day. In this video, we're going to be discussing both the RTX 3070 Ti along with the RTX 3080 Ti, as we now actually have release dates for both of these cards as well as specifications. And the good news is for both of these GPUs, they will actually impose rather strict limitations for mining. Now, I know that for some, this is not a good thing, especially if you want to do, mining on just a single card to help make back some of your cache. But yeah, I think in terms of the wider market at the moment, especially what's going on, perhaps this could be a good interim solution. But I'll let people argue about that in the comments down below. Now, I have to say that the RTX 3070 Ti is possibly the more exciting in some ways out of the two, because it offers some rather interesting upgrades over the RTX 3070. This card is actually going to release in early June, and as for the specifications, it's basically the full-blown GA104 silicon. It's GA104-400 for those who want to know, and whereas the RTX 3070 features 46 graphics clusters, this features 48. So this is a grand total of 6144 CUDA cores, along with, of course, 48 ray tracing units. As for memory, it's the real big upgrade. Unfortunately, it still only sports 8 GB of RAM, which I personally would prefer to be 16, but memory bandwidth has increased significantly. So rather than 448 GB per second, it's now up to a pretty screaming 608 GB per second, thanks to memory which is running again on a 256-bit bus, but up to 19 Gbps. And if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you'll know that I actually leaked the release date of the RTX 3070 Ti previously. I'd said that the RTX 3080 Ti is going to launch late May, and we'll get into that in just a moment, although that seems to be accurate. However, we now have clarification that indeed the RTX 3070 Ti is going to follow shortly thereafter. And this is according to HKE PC, which of course I will link their article in the video description. I'm actually quite excited about both of these cards, and the RTX 3080 Ti has been delayed so many times at this point because of obvious reasons: manufacturing shortages, Nvidia wanting to impose mining limitations, and so on and so on. So what about the RTX 3080 Ti then, I hear you ask? Well, basically it is the RTX 3090 with a small number of cuts. So the number of CUDA cores is 10,240. This has been leaked several times in the past, including most notably by Kopity7 Kimi. This means that we have 80 graphics clusters compared to 64 of the RTX 3080. Although the clock frequencies have not been officially confirmed, of course, it's thought that it does run a little bit slower than the RTX 3080, perhaps around 1660 MHz, 1670, something around there. Memory, though, has also seen an increase, so it's now 12 GB of VRAM rather than 10. This means that correspondingly, the memory bus width has also increased as well, so it's now 384-bit rather than 320. And of course, this also means that the bandwidth increases from 760 GB per second up to 912. The price of this card, I'm hearing, is going to be 1,000-ish US dollars, although of course it does depend on what happens with retailers and scalping at the moment, because, well, we all know what's going on there. I think that these cards could be interesting simply because of their mining limitations, and hopefully we might see them become more readily available. Obviously, there's that information at the moment that Nvidia are essentially going to be doing a refresh of sorts of its kind of cards, so that, let's say, the RTX 3070 or 3080 are going to essentially see a re-release, albeit with the same specifications, but with those mining limitations in place. Now, I don't know whether or not they will hold out to the test of time, whether it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 months, whatever, before those limitations are broken. Obviously, Nvidia did an oopsie and then released that driver which enabled mining on the RTX 3060, which you have to admit, if nothing else, is kind of funny. So with any luck, this doesn't happen anytime soon for these new cards, and it does get these cards into the hands of gamers, which is obviously a really good thing. And I think Ampere has been a pretty good launch. But yeah, there's a lot of discussion, of course, of whether the RX 6000 series cards are better or the RTX 30 series cards. I personally feel that with the market how it is, I would just advocate you getting whatever you can. I'm actually going to be doing a 6700 review pretty soon with a couple of differences, let's just say that. And there's just for those who don't know, I'm also going to be putting an interview with AMD up on the channel next week too. So I think that, there is a lot of excitement to be said in the moment in the graphics market with all of the shortages. It is rather frustrating. I do suspect, though, that the next wave of cards, RDNA 3, as well as Lovelace, will not be so impacted with these shortages from everything I'm hearing in the industry. There's going to be a second video focusing a lot on RDNA 3 as well as 4 on the channel pretty soon. I'm actually working on putting my final notes together on that, and believe me, there's a lot to be excited for, including for RDNA 4. And then shortly thereafter, there'll be another video which is going to be Nvidia focused. But I think I'm rambling a little bit now. Hopefully you have enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. You click the like button, of course. And I also want to quickly thank everyone for subscribing recently. We've had a nice influx of subscribers, which means we're over 90,000. And I realize I haven't actually said thank you for that yet on the video. It kind of just crept up on me. And then a couple of people, viewers actually DM'd me and was like, congrats on 90,000 subs. I'm like, wait, what? Who? Where? So yeah, I just want to thank you all for subscribing and watching the channel. I know I've said this many times at this point, but it is super duper weird to me that we have like 90,000 or whatever subs. It is really strange when you think of that as like, that's a small town or whatever worth of people. I know that it's not like Linus size, for example, but still, that is a lot of people, dude. Or dudette. With that said, anyway, I'm going to let you go before I get too mushy. Thanks very much. Bye.